Hello, everyone, and welcome to Educational Wednesday, where today we're going to talk about the importance of single page measurement. My name is Ron Sherbert. I'm with Marketing for Higher Education, where we help colleges and universities increase their enrollments and reduce their marketing costs using tools like GA4, Google Tag Manager, and many others. Before we get started, we always talk about the measurement framework because to go somewhere, you need to know where you're going first. And same with measurement. To measure something, you need to know what you're going to measure first. We all started off here marketing the blind, and we all want to get here where we can reliably predict our results. And the framework has 4 sections. The first one is plan. You need to know what questions you want to answer before you can answer them. And you need to know what data to collect to answer those questions. So the first section is plan. It's the most important section. And then we're going to collect our data, and this is where we get our traffic from. And we want to know the who, the what, and the why of traffic, who is sending us traffic, what type of traffic are they sending us, and why are they sending us that traffic. And then the next important part is the forecast. You always want to be forecasting the results you're expecting, because that way you can measure to see if you reached those results or if you didn't, and you want to know why you didn't get to them or why you did get to them. And the last one is to optimize, where we meet people's expectations and we increase our conversions and reduce our marketing costs. So let's jump into measuring a single page. Okay, here we are at our demo site, and we are going to set up a measurement on this right here called single page measurement. So when I click on this, you will notice that it's just a long thing with a form down here, and just picture as a page where you had some information on here and you wanted people to contact you or fill out this form down here. The reason why we measure a single page, and there are 2 types of measurement. There's what we call horizontal and vertical. Horizontal is when you're measuring a visitor across your website, their journey across your website. Vertical is when you're measuring that visitor down a single page. So this would be vertical measurement. And what we want to measure on this page is the impressions on how many people land on this page, how many people are interested. So we're going to say that's 10 seconds, how many people engaged by starting to fill out the form, and how many people completed by filling out the form. Okay, so now let's close this out so we can get over to our demo tag manager account. And all we have is the Google tag set up here. So the first thing we're going to set up is we're going to set up the impression tag. And we are going to click new. And we are going to set up a tag, and we are going to call this single impression. And this is our Google tag, and we have a naming convention. So we're always going to call this GA4 dash, and whatever the tag is. So this one is single impression, and that's what we're going to name this. And we are going to set this up on a page view. And we may already have it right here. This is it, the page view. It's called the demo little long page form. So we'll click on that. And now we have our first tag, the impression. So we want to set up our second tag of interest. Are they interested? Did they stay 10 seconds? So on this one, we are going to click on this tag right here, and we're just going to copy it. And we're going to get rid of the copy section. And we're going to call this interest. And now we just need to change the trigger, and we're going to say this is 10 seconds. So we'll add a trigger here. We'll come down. We have a timer for 10 seconds. And I'm just going to get rid of this one. And we are going to open up this one. And you can see that it's 10 seconds. Now, the other way to do this would be to put it in a trigger group. And we'll show you that later on the next one. So right here, we are just going to say this is going to be 10 seconds, and it's going to go off on this page. So let's get out of that. And we are going to save this tag for interest. And let's just make sure that we change it over here too. If not, we're going to have two tags the same. So now we have our tag set up for interest. So now we want to say engaged. And what we're going to do here is we are going to click this one. And we are going to copy this tag again. Get rid of the copy. And we're going to call this engaged. Now, on this one, we haven't set up the trigger yet. And we're going to need to also change the tag right here to engaged. Okay, and now this is on the page, and we're going to need to change that because we don't want it to file or not. We want it to file when it sends up the form. So let me bring up a preview. And we are going to come here. And we are going to check our tag assistant. So when I come down to this form, we're going to click in here and we're going to see what we have. So we're going to come over to this click and we're going to come over to the variable. And we see that we have the click ID WP Forms 13 field 0. So we are going to copy that because we'll need that. And we are going to go create a trigger group. Okay, so now, so we are going to have to set up a trigger with the click text. So basically, we're going to come over here and we are going to set up a new trigger. And this one is going to be in all elements. Click right here. So we're going to click on the all elements and we are going to say only on some clicks. And we are going to say when the click text matches, and actually we can actually say contains, okay? When it contains this right here or matches this, let's say matches equals, okay? When the click text contains equal, this is going to be a click. Right there. And we're going to save that. Okay. So now we're going to create another trigger. And this one's going to be a trigger group. So we're going to come over here and we're going to click this and we're going to come down to this one right here, trigger group. And we're going to click on that. And we are going to choose our triggers. And we are going to choose when the page view is this right here and when it has this click. Okay, those are the conditions that it's going to fire on. And we are just going to call this TG. And we always use the first capital letter of the thing. So it's going to be TG. And on this one, it will be single engage. Whoops, bad spelling. And we are going to save that. And now we're going to come back to our tag. And the engage, we are going to swap the trigger out. So we are going to put the trigger group. And we are going to get rid of this one. And let's just make sure we have changed this. We have, and we'll save it. So now the only thing we have to do is the complete, and we'll have to go to our preview again. And see what we get when we get there. So if we fill this out and we submit it, okay, we come to this demo thank you. So we'll click that. And we'll just close out of here. And we will come back here and we're going to go to our impression again. We're going to copy it. And we're going to call this complete. And we're going to have to change our tag. And we're going to come down here. And we're going to add a new tag. And this is just going to be another page view. And it's going to be on some pages, page path contains thank you demo. And we will call this page view, thank you demo. And we will save it. And then we will get rid of this one. Okay, so now let's check to see if we have everything set up properly. Remember, you always want to trust but verify. You believe you have it set up correctly, but you always want to check. So we're going to hit the preview mode. We're going to connect that tag assistant. And now we're going to click on this single measurement page. And if all things go well on the container loaded, we should have the single impression. We do. We're going to scroll down and we're going to see the timer over here. And we click on that. We should have interest. And when we click on the name, we should have, and it didn't fire. So we did something wrong. So let's find out what we did wrong. So that would be the single engage. We're going to come over here and it didn't fire because these didn't match. And it tells us that this didn't match, right? So what we got to do is let's come back to our tag real quick. Well, before we do that, let's check the variables, what we have here. And we had click text. And what was the click text? The click text was undefined. Here's the problem. We had click text and it's click ID. So let's go back here and change that real quick. And we are just going to come to the trigger and we're going to come to this one right here. And we are going to change the click text to the click ID. And we'll save that. Okay. And we'll preview again and see if we got it. So here we go, single page. Container loaded, impression. Scroll down. Timer, interest. Let's click in here. Come back here on the click. Oh, the trigger group. We got the trigger group. We got the single engaged, right? Fire that because there's a trigger group after the click. And then we're just going to come here, run test.com and that and complete it. We get our thank you page and on the container loaded here. Okay, thank you page. And she could be, there's our single complete. So they are all working. Now, the one thing you would want to check is you would want to go to your Google debug and you would want to make sure that they came through. So here we are in debug view and let's see what we got. Okay, we got single impression, we got single interest, we got single engaged, and we got single complete. So we know it's being sent over to GA4. So that is going to wrap up our Educational Wednesday, how to measure a single page and why it's important. Let's head back to our screen and remember that this is free content that we put out every Wednesday for Educational Wednesday. And if you want to subscribe, just go to mhe.tips/subscribe or marketingforhighereducation.com/subscribe. And if you have any suggestions on topics you want us to cover, please let us know. We'd be more than happy to cover those. And also, if you have any questions regarding your measurement, do not feel free to reach out to us and we will give you the answer that you need. And you can reach us at Ron at Marketing for Higher Education, and either myself or a team member will get back to you. And that's going to wrap up this Educational Wednesday, single page measurement, why it's important to measure a single page. We'll see you next week.